Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Off the Sprue. This is episode 16 and we are continuing our series on Diorama Construction. This is part 2. Now you'll remember that in the previous part I started working on a section of road for the diorama, and you'll also recall that I said I changed my mind a lot, so I changed my mind.
Huh?
Yep. It turns out the road section that I built had a few problems. The position of the bomb crater did not leave enough room for the truck to pass. Also, the road section was too high up from the rice paddy. It looked a bit off scale. So basically what I did is I started from scratch. I cut some new foam, and I've got a new and improved diorama base that I'll be continuing. So basically the same steps that I followed previously, just with another piece of foam. Guys, the method that I followed here was very much trial and error. I would jump between steps. I would apply some color with the airbrush, go to applying pigment, jump back to airbrush again. So this is not a linear thing. This is very much trial and error. To lay down the base color and texture, I use these products from Ammo MIG. First is an acrylic paste, Vietnam Earth, and then also some pigment in the same color. This is a very nice product to use. It's, as I said, it's a paste, so it already has the texture and the correct color, the correct base color, and it is applied with, in this case, a ice cream stick, just spread over the entire foam base, much like you would spread icing on a cake, I suppose. At first I just want to cover the entire surface evenly with the product, and then to smooth it out I use a damp brush, some water, and I want this product applied as evenly as possible. I also use a dabbing motion just to make sure that I don't leave any brush strokes. Now the center section of the road needs to be very flat, the ground needs to be compacted there, and for that I use brush strokes, just forward and back. Now on any gravel road, the center section is compacted, and to create this effect, I used some pigment. The bottle was empty, so next I used the empty bottle as a roller, just to compact that pigment into the surface. And finally I used my fingers, and I just pressed the pigment into the wet acrylic paste. And that would give me the two tire tracks along the center of the road. There you can see the result. Now, having the basic texture down, it's time to lay down some color. And you'll recall that I used this color sand brown when I weathered the Jeep and the truck, and I'm going to apply the same color now with the airbrush towards the outside edges of the road section, just to have the same earthy color as I used on the vehicles. The next color is dark earth, and this is applied in all the shadow areas towards the bottom of the road section. For lighter shade I use US earth yellow, and this is applied in the center of the road where the tire tracks are, and you can see there's the color being applied, and this is the result. This is definitely starting to look like a dirt road with the compacted lighter soil and the darker earth to the sides. Just to get the outer edges of the road, that characteristic Vietnam orange dust color, I use orange rust, and this is applied at the very edges of the road section. Now, if we take another look at our original reference picture, you'll notice that there's some loose gravel, some small stones on the edges of the road surface itself. This is usually the case with a gravel road, and I use very fine gravel for this, very small stones that I got from a construction site. This is fixed to the road section with a mixture of white glue and water. I actually crushed some of this with a hammer just to get the correct size, something that would look to scale. That's the result. When the white glue, the PVA glue dries, this will be completely clear and we'll have that texture there. Next I jump to the rice paddy section, and I use this product from Ammo Mick called Mud, and this is now applied to the walls of the rice paddy, where splashing water would leave some dried mud. This is the first of the mud colors. I'll be using 2 of them. Just to blend the little stones more into the road surface, I used dark earth again and just airbrushed some color over them. Next I used some Vietnam earth pigment and just applied that to the stones. Further way of blending it into the diorama base. Now the wet section of the rice paddy will need to be a very glossy, a bit darker muddy color, and for this I used another product from Ammo Mick called Dark Mud. This is an enamel based product, so this can be thinned with odorless thinner, and this is now applied basically where the water line is going to be. And there you can see the two-tone mud effect, the dried mud above and the wet mud below. That's exactly the effect we were looking for. And there we go, this is the result. This is how far we are. For the next step, the final step, I do apologize, I forgot to film this, but I did take a picture. I took a look at my road surface and I sort of realized this is looking too rough. The texture is too rough. On a well-used dirt road where the tire tracks, where the tires would have compacted the road, it would be much smoother. So I used a fine grit sander, I think this was an 800 grit sander, and I sanded down the center section of the road. I had to reapply some of the airbrush color, but you can see the result is very realistic, and we are finally at that well-used dirt road look that we were after right in the beginning. So guys, this is it for part 2. In part 3 we'll be taking a look at the rice paddy itself and also 1 or 2 of the other items that I'll be making for this diorama. As always, this is a list of the products that I used if you want to go shopping, and if you are curious to follow the rest of this build, follow me on Instagram. I post regular updates there, and I'll see you in part 3.